So welcome everybody. Just really, we'll get started. I'll pass you over to Matt in a second. Thanks for coming. The flow surgery in April. We've got two events coming up. On the 20th and the 27th. The 20th, it's going to be an open forum. Guest host is EY Kalman, who's a Microsoft BizApps MVP. He's going to be showing us how omni-channel engagement, omni-channel hub for customer service works in Dynamics 365. And then on the 27th, it's Power Apps Nights with reporting in the Dataverse. So again, looking at some of the content from the PL200, expanding on it and going kind of showing you how to create reports in Dataverse, reports, charts, views, things like that. This is a session, a problem suggested by another one of our members again. So keep the suggestions coming in. They mean a lot to us. It gives us something to talk about. So keep them coming. Over to Matt to introduce it. Unless Alex is on the line, if he wants to speak. It was from Alex McLaughlin. There he is.
You might know what we're doing.
Thanks, Paddy and Matt. So this is a fairly sort of common use case in a sense. I mean, I've kind of expressed it as you've got an event and you've got a whole load of people booking on it, and you want a marketing list, a dynamic marketing list for those people. But obviously you're creating events, every week, every month, whatever. So you need a new marketing list for each one to be created on the fly. So that's the particular use case. But I think there's probably other equivalent use cases as well that would use exactly the same sort of, hopefully, solution.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So when I was looking over the suggestions, I saw this one. I was trying to think like, well, what's kind of the use case here, because you can make dynamic marketing lists inside Dynamics based on an advanced find. But then it got me thinking like, well, you can only create a single dynamic query. So what happens when your marketing lists are diametrically opposed, where you want to include something and some sub-entities, but then you want to include the same, like the opposite of that, and some other sub-entities to generate your big massive query, which is what I'm going to be referring this to, the big massive query experiment here. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a bit of how to use actions inside of Power Automate to generate marketing lists and add to marketing lists. So even if you have a Dynamics marketing list, you can still add people to it specifically. And what we will do is we will show adding those things in. So I will share my screen and we'll get started. So so the initial problem is that we want to use marketing lists to market to people. So we want to send maybe emails out to say, hey, we've got a new product, or hey, we're running this event. And the problem is that you can use marketing lists and you can use dynamic marketing lists to create a query, but that query will either, maybe it's not granular enough, maybe you need to do multiple queries because maybe you have some criteria that is diametrically opposed. So maybe you want all, all contacts that are from Scotland, and their parent company is also from Scotland, and they have some open opportunities at the moment that they are working on, or you want to run it on all contacts who are not in Scotland, whose parent companies aren't in Scotland and don't have any open opportunities. You can't do that in a single advanced find, and therefore you can't do it in a single dynamic marketing list. So what you would historically have to do is maybe do multiple, add these things in multiple times, and then maybe do, there was an old trick of, using exclude to exclude people, and you actually brought people in, and all these sorts of hacks and things like that. But one of the things that we can do is we can use Power Automate to actually build marketing lists. So we can use complex fetch XML queries, one or multiple fetch XML queries, to list records, to bring back some rows of data for contacts or leads or accounts that we want to market to, and then we can put them into a marketing list so that we can market to them. So we used what we call a bound action here. So what we did is we listed some contacts. We had a fetch XML query that was different to maybe our dynamic one, and then we used a bound action called add member list from the table name marketing lists. The row ID is the target, or the sort of the marketing list that we're marketing at, and the entity ID was that contact, lead, or account that we want to add to that marketing list. So we triggered that, and that built up our marketing list for us. Which one was it? Not this one. It was, no, not that one. It's every one other than the one that I just pressed. Let's try that. Is that enough? We'll go here. So what we did is we built it up, and we got these 4 members added onto our marketing list from that bound action. Because I was playing around with bound actions, I then thought, hey, it might be good to like repeat this, to maybe copy marketing list members from one to another. So what we did in the second flow is we created a brand new marketing list, the third in the trilogy. We then added another bound action. This one was called copy member list, and with the help of everyone, mostly Larry, not really myself, we figured out that the row ID is the source row ID from where we're copying the marketing list from, and the target was that new marketing list that we wanted to copy those members to. So we ran that one, and then we copied all of these members from here onto this marketing list here. So it's really to show the power of actions inside Dynamics or inside Dataverse. There are bound actions linked to entities, and there are unbound actions not linked to entities that we can use. And unbound actions are also, we can also create our own actions as well that do specific things, and take in parameters and output parameters as well. So actions are really cool. I really recommend you take a look at them to see if these would be useful. And the issues today were adding people to marketing lists and copying marketing lists, and we did that using bound actions. So